we are absolutely, without a doubt, in the last days. A lot of people will argue, and understandably so, that the days of Lot is indicative of a world and a culture that has embraced sodomy, that has embraced homosexual activity, and has continued to pursue sexual deviation. And although that is a massive part of why Sodom was judged by God and Gomorrah, the major issue here when it talks about being as the days of Lot has nothing to do with the sexual deviant practices that existed during that time and continue to exist in the time in which we live. Why don't we talk about the days of Lot for a second? You see, these angels came. They are now in Lot's house getting Lot ready for what was about to happen. And these sodomites came to the door. Yes, sodomites. That's actually where we get the term sodomy from, believe it or not. And they start banging on the door. We want to have a sexual experience with the men that are in your house. They don't realize these are angels. What does Lot do? He turns to the angels and appeals to them and says, hey, man, pray to God, get rid of these guys. Nope. He, through the door, says, I got 2 daughters that are virgins. I will give them to you. Okay, look. I don't care how endeared I am to a culture, a people group, or whatever. Good luck. Good luck trying to get me to exploit my daughters, even in the name of being what people call hospitable. Something was wrong with Lot at that moment. Something was very wrong with Lot. And what was wrong with Lot was he was a righteous man who had an attachment to the world that he lived in. That is what it's talking about when it says in the days of Lot. Think about this for a second, folks. When the angels vacated Lot, Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt because Lot left the example of loving wickedness, or at least loving the wicked nation that he was in. And he had this weird attachment to the world that he lived in, even though that world was deeply demonic and satanically inspired. We know this because if you think about this, the closest relatives to Lot didn't even listen. Lot ends up, this is what's crazy, Lot ends up hanging out in some cave that overlooked everything that was going on there with Sodom and Gomorrah because he still couldn't take his eyes off of what was happening there. I would submit to you that we live in a world today filled with people who call themselves righteous, who are attached to wickedness, who are attached to a world, and in many cases, different nations, where they believe the investment of emotional attachment is going to pay off, when in reality, what they are doing is they are mimicking Lot, which is a leading indicator to the fact that we are absolutely, without a doubt, in the last days. Come on, guys. If you really, really want to find parallels between the days that we're living in right now and the day of Lot, think about just the pastors and spiritual leaders that we know of that are encouraging all kinds of evil. You'll shut your church building down, and the first time you open up your church building is to turn it into a center. You deny the people of God access to the word of God, access to fellowship, access to encouragement, access to Hebrews 10:24 and 25. Yet you will take money from the United States government to sustain you during the time that you are in operation without people coming into the church that you closed. You, my friend, are Lot. You are living in the days of Lot because you are producing those days. That is a pure indicator that we are in the days in which we are in.